All right, real quick, Ross, before you answer Matt's question, just for audio purposes, we have now been joined by our race winner here at Talladega Superspeedway, the Geico 500, with Ross Chastain. Ross, go ahead with your answer, please.
It's not working. Now is it working?
It's working now.
So for me, it's his confidence in the way he answers that is the whole reason that we're not underdogs, and it starts at the top. So I could go into a long spiel about it, but it truly just starts with when he answers that question. That's the reason why, and that's the reason why we believe it.
Did he tell you, like in those certain terms, though, you're no longer the underdog? How did he articulate that to you?
I would be lying if I told you I remembered exactly what he said. So, well, whatever he said, that's what he said.
All right, if I could get our microphone to Jordan, please. Front.
Jordan Bianchi, the athletic, your dad was not at COTA. I think that's the first win he said that he's ever missed, but he was here today. What was it like celebrating with him?
Yeah, it was awesome. I realized it immediately at COTA that he wasn't there. So, yeah, that's special. He comes to a lot. He puts a lot of effort into being here. My mom does. My brother does. My family. They make the effort to drive, fly, whatever it takes, and it means the world. Like he is the reason that I'm here. He is the reason I fell in love with racing and why I stayed out of, I want to say trouble, but like he's got me in, like it just gave me an avenue to be successful and to truly, and I fell in love with it. So, he didn't push me early on. I mean, he did, but it wasn't like other kids we were racing against. And I think the way he did it was the perfect way. We had fun racing locally and we got to this level, and then we did a few races and we kept doing more. But beyond all that, back to the question, it's just my dad was here. We won a cup race. That's so cool.
A year ago, a lot of things were uncertain about your future in the Cup Series. Now you drive for a team co-owned by Pitbull. You're celebrating a victory lane with Kid Rock. You won at Talladega. Does it just seem surreal at times?
It does not seem real at all. Like I keep waiting to wake up from this dream and realize it's all not what I thought what I think I'm living. But I've got great groups of people from Trackhouse on the competition and the business side to the business side of Aspire, my family, people in Charlotte and around Mooresville that keep reminding me and keep showing me that this is real. And we talked about it. I talked about it earlier, and we're sitting right here at this spot. Like I'm right where I want to be, and I have the people around me. So they keep me remembering, and they keep reminding me, and they keep pushing me to make this the best we can make it. We're not resting on any of this stuff. And like Justin said, I might not be quite as sharp in the morning to get to work on Dover, but I'll get to work on it at some point tomorrow.
All right, Jeff, did you have a question?
When you brought out the watermelon, it got quite a pop from the crowd. Like kind of used to be like the right before Carl did his backflip, like they knew it was coming. What was it like to stand on top of your car with the melon, Talladega grandstands? They're like going crazy. What was that like?
Unlike anything I've ever experienced, Jeff. Roy brought it out. Mr. Roy gets it every week for us, and it was a long way down there for him. And it's like I like to remind him, at his age, that's no small feat. But no, I knew I wanted to stand on the car. I want it to smash. I don't want it to just bust open. So, yeah, my Bell helmet. I'm running ear cuffs, like noise canceling ear cuffs, and really good ear molds, and I heard them and I felt them, and like the car was shaking, and then my legs started shaking, and then my arms were shaking, and I was like, I took a second and I just scanned left to right. So like from the start finish line was in my peripheral, and I scanned down to the tri-oval, and people were going crazy. It was wild. Smashed it, and then they erupted again. So yeah, it's indescribable. Like I don't have the words, but just the feeling they pumped into, like that I got, was what you dream of. Like that's what I wanted to do when I first wanted to show watermelons. If I was ever able to win a race, I wanted that feeling and I wanted that reaction, and we've got that.
All right, a mic to Bob, please.
Right across the table.
Bob Hawkers, Fox Sports. I know the first one is the biggest, but is to win a race like this with patience more important?
It is now because it was a mental decision I made with whenever I got in line there on the bottom pushing Larson. I had JJ behind me, and I've made the mistake. I don't want to say I let him win. I made the mistake several times in Xfinity cars, and had like track position on him in equal cars, and I moved up or I made a move, and then he went on to win the race. So I knew he would stay on the bottom. Like he's won so many races that way, and if he pushed me and I pushed the 5, we'd have the best shot. Just make the bottom the best it can be. So it's not that I was complacent or anything. It was I thought my best chance of winning was to just push the bottom. Now that was wrong because the outside, the 43 still cleared all of us, but it's still I thought it was going to put me in the best position to win. So yeah, the patience side, it's hard. It's so hard to just every split second decision has to be quick, but then also you have to be able to live with the consequences of it. So I just thought that was my best maneuver, which is I've never thought that before, and it's not like, oh, I should have always done that in the past. It worked out this time. No, he went up. I think he went up to pass the 43. That's how I remember it. What? I was never going up. I mean, I might have it's a blur. Like coming to the finish and Kurt's on my right rear. I'm trying to keep whoever. Like I don't even know if there's anybody still behind me, but just no matter where the car went, the mental decision was not to go to his right rear because I had somebody on my outside. So that's cool that he thought I did it though. Let's let him think that.
Okay, we're going to go Jenna, Daniel, Taryn, Courtney, and up to Dustin. So Jenna, go ahead.
I have really important questions. How old is this watermelon? Was this watermelon?
It got purchased right after COTA, so it's been a few weeks. It was on its last leg.
Last leg. So how does last leg watermelon off the pavement after 800 miles taste?
Never sweeter. Oh my goodness. And I could feel like there was so much watermelon juice on my face and running down me. And I looked down at it and there was no seeds. And I was like, well, they're either all on my face and Regan's not saying anything again. And then I called him out on it. Like, are you going to tell me this time? Like, help a brother out. Just knowing what that means, and not to get too long-winded, but to go back to our family's history and what has put food on our table for generations, and to get to do that in front of, let alone this crowd, but national, worldwide attention is just all I have ever wanted to do as a race car driver is to help promote watermelons.
And that was my next question is, have watermelons ever gotten this much exposure and, this platform that you're, are you noticing it? Are you noticing the attention on watermelons?
I mean, I am. I've noticed attention on watermelon forever. I mean, I work with different state associations and the National Watermelon Association. There's a National Watermelon Promotion Board. We incorporate it into safe driving campaigns. We incorporate it into paint schemes whenever we can. So I've always had, obviously, the attention to it. I still have Google alerts set for watermelon race truck, watermelon driver, watermelon race car driver, like to an old email address that I'll check every now and then. Because used to, that's how I could I'd send off a story to the board or to the association to show them what we were doing. So, it's I don't know. That might be a question for somebody a little bit older than me. It might know if watermelons have ever gotten this much attention, but I'm gonna guess not. I mean Gallagher, right? But.
All right, Daniel, go ahead with your question, please.
Dylan McFadden, front stretch. When Justin was in here, you know, he talked about how Talladega is hallowed ground in NASCAR and its history. I'm just curious, for you, as you've been coming up to the sport, where was Talladega's place in your mind when it came to tracks and where you would want to win?
It is. I mean, you just. I think it was said today, like, you know, they don't race them anywhere else like they race them at Talladega, and I think that Barney Hall said that. So, I think, yeah, that's just. We've all been watching races here forever, and I mean, I come here with the mentality. I used to come here really worried, really try to focus my first couple years and try to like plan out every move, and I realized pretty quickly that's not possible. And Johnny Sauter said one time, like, why are you worried? You're going to be backwards in the grass at 200 miles an hour. If you don't hit anything, you'll probably still have a chance to win. Like, relax. And he just said it in passing. Maybe I don't even know if it was like driver intros or after the race or something. And it stuck with me. And I was like, you know what? He's right. Like, I should come here a lot more relaxed and learn and try to prepare. And I prepare and I try to be as, you know, the best race car driver I can be. But I'm no better because we won. And the other 25, there was 25 cars today that could legitimately win this race. I mean, in theory, there was 39, but 25 legitimate chances. And, you know, we were just the lucky ones that the cars parted and they all hung a right coming through the tri-oval, and that was it.
All right, Taryn, go ahead.
Taryn Walk with NASCAR.com. The same car as Coda, does that make this more special?
It makes it so special that Jim France and the NASCAR family and the France family, like their vision for this car, that you can win a race on a road course. And I mean, how much is it? A month? Has it been a month or 2 months? Since Coda? A month? Fourth race in a month. You can bring a car back, you win at a road course, and you can win at Talladega. Like, that hasn't happened since the 60s. Like, I don't know, farther back. I have no idea. I mean, they would have different cars. So it's wild. That's more what it means to me. That this car is capable of that. You change the geometry, change the suspension, shim the body a little bit, and go race. Like, put the different tune in the motor for super speedway, and adjust your rear diffuser and adjust everything, and the same car can come race. That's just wild. I'm not sitting here going to say it's any cheaper yet. I don't think it's cheaper for us than just building a new car like in the past, but I don't know. I don't know the business behind what we're doing. I just drive the cars. So it is special, though.
Or are you not superstitious?
I'm not. I mean, I like that we still have my first ever race truck, my Monte Carlo race car back home. We have my brother's first car. Like, that kind of stuff is neat, and I will never probably get rid of those. But, you know, here, you honestly can't tell. And the first time that ever happened for me, you can always tell something between each car. There's always a little something different. And I wrecked in the duel last year in the 42 car. Wrecked the car. We went to a backup, and I got in for practice the next day. And I called them out. I was like, there's no way. This is the same car. Same interior. And they're like, no, it's all new, but it's all that good, and it's that well prepared that they prepare it that close that you can't tell a difference. And it's the same thing with these cars. I can't tell a difference week in and week out. You know, I can't tell that it's the same car because I can't tell that one's any different.
All right, Courtney, go ahead with your question.
Courtney Horn, ScartsandScuffs.com. Your first Cup victories have come at two distinct tracks. When you think about your NASCAR journey, is that mind-blowing for you?
Absolutely mind-blowing. It is. Yeah, I grew up short track racing, so I just assumed and thought that was where I was the best. And road courses, like turning right was hard and drafting was hard. And I just thought would never be able to catch up to guys that had been doing it so much longer than me, and a lot of time and work and really good people surrounding me. We've closed the gap. There's still a long ways to go, but yeah, it's absolutely mind-blowing.
Rank among your victories?
Oh, I don't put any of them ahead of any other one. They're all, you know, this one and Coda, and I mean, yeah, it's Cup. It's different, but I mean, I put it right next to the Iowa truck win.
All right, we're going to go to Justin front, and then Nathan, and then we will end with Daniel.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. Ross, Justin has talked about this team being a disruptor and doing things in a different way. And I'm curious, one, how has he impacted you, and how has he impacted this team, especially when he's more based in Nashville, so he's not in the shop as much? How is that disruptor, how does that attitude, or how does that motivation, how has he had an impact on you and this team to do what this organization has done in the first 10 races of the season?
I'd say as much as on the business and public side that he's a disruptor. His messaging to me is like, I don't have to be a disruptor anymore. Like on track, it's okay. I can take a breath. I don't have to drive every lap. So I would say I was a disruptor through trucks, Xfinity early on in Cup last year. And it took several different people that I have a lot of respect for, and some that at the time I didn't really know why they were telling me these things because I didn't know them that well. But then Justin, like this year, like it's okay, stop, just stop. Like you're okay, just go drive the car, but you don't have to win every lap. Like win the day, be as good as we can in that day. As far as everything else, Trackhouse is maybe a disruptor, if in that sense. But for me on track, it's almost been the opposite.
Okay, we're going to go to Nathan and then end with Daniel. Go ahead, Nathan.
Hey Ross, Nathan Buckley with Full Sail University. I noticed that they showed on the big board, probably with about 5 laps go maybe, that the different winners throughout the year, and most of them, maybe all but Denny Hamlin and Kyle Busch, were younger drivers that I imagine that you raced against in the Xfinity Series and the Truck Series. Coming into the Cup Series here and seeing all these drivers that you raced with doing well, does that motivate you at all to go out there and, race your rear end off, if that makes sense?
Yeah. I don't look at any car anything farther than how do I pass them, or how do I race them. I really don't. I think there are more of us that are they're in our 20-year-old range, but I don't really. I see what everybody's talking about, and I do see the trend, but those guys are good. Like they have forgotten more than I've ever learned, and that's been the hardest part about Cup is trying to catch up to that. They just even though it's a different car and totally different environment on track, with everything about this new car, it's still they're that good that they will adapt, and trying to come as prepared as I can be every week. I look to those guys, and I'm studying them to try to be the best race car driver I can be. So I think they're the best.
All right, and I skipped over Jonathan by accident, so go ahead with your question, Jonathan, before we'll wrap with Daniel.
He'll turn you on.
There you go. Ross, I just have to ask, did you get a chance to talk with Pitbull at all?
I haven't. That's twice in a row in victory lane. I'm running around, hugging, jumping on people that Justin and they're off in the side where they can actually hear him. But I'll have a text from him. We text throughout every so often, and he's always motivating and like he wants to be here. He does, and we're gonna catch up down in South Florida because we're not that. Our homes aren't from that far apart. Couldn't probably be farther, environment and socially a farther distance in the world. But it's we have the same passion for this right now. So he's Mr. Worldwide. Like the thought that he's gonna be here, like Justin said, every week is a dream. But he'll be here, and he's gonna be here for one of these wins. And I think. Rolling off today, Daniel, I thought he had one of the fastest cars. And honestly, the wreck that took them out, coming to the restart, I shut the car off to try to I'm keeping it cool and saving gas. And coming to the restart zone, I popped the clutch and the ignition was off. And so I was lagged back. and I took off and was wide open way before the restart zone, but I didn't actually catch up. And that's when Joey got turned in turn 1, and they all wrecked, and I was barely able to slow down enough. So, I mean, I think, I would have been in that wreck with Daniel, but if I not for that mistake. But I feel like Daniel, I truly believe, I see the preparation, the 1 in 99, like he's going to win races, and when he does, he's gonna rattle them off. Like he's that level and that caliber driver, and that team and the 1 in 99 are building together. But yeah, I haven't got to talk to Armando yet.
A lot of special things about today's win. How would you sum up what you're going to remember years from now about this?
I mean, I'm going to remember that I crossed the line, and I honestly didn't know if we won. I mean, I knew that I quit blocking, I think the 3. Did the 3 finish second? Like, I saw the 5 and the 43 hang a right, and then I was just motoring around the bottom, and Brandon said, go to the top, and I'm like, well, that's weird. Like, the 3's going to push me. And I knew I was coming to the checkered, but then I crossed the line, and they all were slowing down, and I was like, did we win? Like, we won? I mean, I knew that and I was like, they're not, everybody's slowing down, and I was like, we won the race. Like, that's wild. So, I mean, that's the first thing, and then, for the first time ever, I blew the rear tires off of it doing burnouts. I felt them unraveling, and I didn't care. I had it in second gear, wide open, and I'll take the hit on that. Like, whatever we got to do to get it, to fix it. But in the moment, I couldn't control myself. Yep.
All right, Daniel, go ahead and bring us home.
Two-part question. How did you feel about your chances once you got the speeding? How are you feeling at that point?
Terrible. Terrible. Yeah, it just cost us the race, I thought. Absolutely. I didn't think there was any way, I knew there was a way to get back in it, but then honestly, I knew it would be hard. It was just track position, man. Just getting, like, we had cycled out to be 5th, and then the whole rest of the race, I think I had to watch the 43. I had to watch Eric up there dicing it up, and if nothing else, learning how to race with the leaders. And I'm 12th in line, bottom. I'm 13th in line on the top. Like, I'm just stuck. Tried the very top a couple times, tried to work with a few guys, hung guys out, got hung out, and it took Phil Surgeon and some strategy to get up there, and then one key move. But yeah, when we had the speeding penalty, no, I didn't get down. It's just like, well, it just made it a whole lot harder because we had just jumped so many guys that come out 5th. So.
When you got lapped by the field and they kind of had to split you at the last second, what happened right there? What was communicated to you about where the field was?
Yeah, it was the field was counted down. Brandon counted them down side by side. Leaders, the whole pack, 2 by 2. McDowell had slowed down when I had to do my pass through. I don't know why he was that far back, but he slowed down on the track so we could draft together, and that prolonged us going a lap down by a few laps. And I knew that I had to race him for the free pass, and Brad was in the pack at the tail. And off of 2, I started dragging back to get gapped off of Michael, get a little momentum to him. And then into 3, it's a decision I made on my own, but I offset to the right of Michael, so he was on the bottom, and I went to the right, and I'm about a car length or a little bit less back. And I knew that put everybody either going 2 by 2 above me, which then I would probably have to give it to them. But when I saw the 5 split to the bottom, I disrupted the field, and that was my goal, was create turbulence where that I can catch up and they don't put me all the way to the back. And it's not, I thought about it for a few laps, and it's not something that I would do every time, but in that situation I felt the risk of what I was doing was enough to get the free pass at the stage break, to get around the 34 and stay ahead of Brad. That risk was enough, and turns out it probably wasn't. Probably they both got their laps back through a couple cautions later, but I knew that to get the first free pass at stage 1 end, it was going to take, like, I had to disrupt the field. If not, they would blow by me, and Michael me, and Brad would all be at the back of the line, and then we'd be stuck. And if I was behind one of them, I'd never pass them. So, yeah, I'm sure Kyle wasn't super happy with me. I think it might have cost him the lead, but I felt like it was a risk worth taking, and it was on purpose. So.
All right, Ross, congratulations again.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us, and we wish